second chances. In a past life, I was a tree, and I was a tree in grad school. And I'm sure some of you have been there. It can be a challenging experience. I had this course that I had to take, and in it, it was graded and evaluated on one very large paper. The nice part about it was that it was a group paper. So we would meet every other week in classes, and we would meet in this group and discuss our topic. We don't want to really go into the details because I don't actually remember all the details about the paper. But what would happen in these group things is we would talk about things, and I didn't understand what anyone else was saying. It's difficult. So I would go to the professor who happened to be the chair of the department after classes and be like, I don't understand anything. And we would talk, and I would walk away from these meetings with the professor and like, okay, I kind of understand. So this went on through the semester. The second to last day, we had to give a presentation. And we all got to stand in front of the class like I'm standing in front of you, and shaking, kind of like I'm shaking now, to talk about our topics of this paper. So the night before, we're collecting and emailing each other these pieces of paper and putting it together and making our presentations, because that's what you do in college. It's second to last day. I guess it helps to know that at the time I was also a teacher. So I would read a lot of very bad papers. And you get to learn when they don't make any sense. And you get to learn that it's hard to teach people things. You also get to learn when people copy things. And so I'm reading through this multi-page paper that we had all written, and I'm like, this is the worst paper I have ever read in my life. And we're a bunch of adults. And we can do better than this. And something clicked in my head. I'm like, you know, I wonder if, and I took a sentence out of the paper and put it into a big search engine, and sure enough, 10, 15 results come up. I'm like, huh, that's interesting. I took to the next sentence, put it into the search engine. Oh, another few results. And I'm like, wow, this paper doesn't make any sense at all now. I went through this for maybe 15 minutes before I became really enraged, which is hard because I am a tree. It dawned on me that the reason I didn't understand what anybody was saying and why this paper was so poorly written was because nobody knew what they were doing. They were just talking about things and copying things that they had read. So I got really angry, and I picked up the phone and I called my advisor, and she didn't answer. So I called the director of the department, and he didn't answer. So I'm like, crap, what am I supposed to do? I have a paper that I'm turning in, and I have to put my name on it, which means I just plagiarized in grad school. So I decided to do my presentation on plagiarism, which I had thought of at the last minute, kind of like I thought of the story. And went to the class the next day and stood in front of everyone, and they expected me to talk about numbers and figures, and I talked about plagiarism. And it turned out that after discussing it in front of the class, with the class, don't ever accuse people of lying and cheating in front of them. It's a very, very unpleasant experience. It turned out that 75% of this paper had been plagiarized. I was given the chance to rewrite it on my own, which I did. So, beginning the next semester, I figured it would all taken care of. People who plagiarize do not stay in school generally. And it turned out that they all had been given a second chance, whereas I had extricated myself from the community there. So, I'm not sure how that all goes.
Thank you. The next time you need to call a party foul, just